Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. We're going to give everyone just a few more minutes to trickle in, but while you wait, please enjoy our CB Insights theme song. Thanks.
CB Insights will help you to find the next unicorn. Will help you to see where the smart money is investing. CBinsights.com will help you to discover the next hot industry. CB Insights.
All right, let's get started. We're very excited to have Wharton here, as well as Harvard and all of our other university clients. We're going to jump right into our webinar showing you how to use CB Insights for universities and how students can use CB Insights to work smarter. If you're having any technical problems throughout the webinar, you can follow the link on this slide to reach Citrix support. During the webinar, you can always send us questions or comments via the GoToWebinar chat window that popped up when you launched the webinar. Definitely send those questions when you have them, and while we won't be able to get to them at the end of the webinar, we will answer them via email. In case you have to take off early or you think we're going too fast, don't worry, we'll send you the recording and slides immediately after the webinar. So to guide you through the webinar today, we have Katrina Ramos and Jessica Schneider, two members of our customer success team. A little bit about Katrina. She specializes in working with our university clients here at CB Insights and graduated from the Tobin School of Business at St. John's University back in 2012. Jessica also works closely with our universities and graduated from Allegheny College in 2013.
Hi guys, this is Jessica. For those of you who might not know CB Insights, we are a data and analytics company backed by the National Science Foundation and Pilot Growth. We look at private companies, their investors and acquirers, partnerships, news stories, and a number of other data points that can help you stay informed about the private markets for research purposes, as well as for getting started with your own business. We're fortunate to work with some very smart people, a lot of the world's leading organizations, as well as the Ivy League, the Big Ten, and some universities outside of the US as well. At CB Insights, we're really fond of this motto. Data is the one thing that really defines our company and what we do, so obviously we're obsessed over the accuracy of the data we provide. To get this data, we're tracking over 270,000 sources worldwide in many different languages using our machine learning technology. Some of our data is also gathered through direct submissions from companies and investors themselves. Companies want to make sure that they're being seen in front of the several hundred corporate M&A teams that use our platforms, and investors care about being featured in our reports and research briefs, as we're one of the top cited data sources in major publications like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times.
Hi guys, this is Katrina Ramos with the customer success team here at CB Insights. Traditionally, we help investors, corporate strategy, and M&A teams figure out what's next, who their next customer is, their next investment, the next market they should attack, and that's all super powerful, but this session is definitely going to be more tailored to our university clients and those of you who are current students, as well as faculty and staff. Today, we are going to cover how to use CB Insights to analyze the private company market. So that's going to include private companies as well as their investors and acquirers to aid in your academic research. We're also going to talk about high-growth private companies and how to discover these emerging companies in industries of your interest that are looking for talent. We'll talk about smart money investors and acquirers from traditional VCs to corporate VCs, how to identify key players in emerging industries, and how to find and target potential investors. Your university has given you access to CB Insights, so if you're already familiar with the platform, that's great. If you've never seen CB Insights before, this webinar is going to be a great starting point. All of these graphs and charts you're going to see during this webinar are taken directly from the CB Insights database, so feel free to use any of our analytical charts and visualizations we provide in the database for your own reports with CB Insights as the source. First, let's talk about the job search and how to use CB Insights to discover high-growth private companies. There's a lot of talk about startups today in almost every conversation, and a lot of these big, well-known corporations obviously do many things right, but we've been seeing a lot of disruption to these corporations by startups, where Uber is going after the taxi and transportation space, payment apps are unbundling those bigger banks, and even tech-enabled Airbnb and other travel tech startups have been attacking the traditional hotel model. In the past 6 years alone, there have been over 26,000 investments in early-stage venture capital-backed startup companies, and over $82 billion poured into these companies by investors.
Hey guys, this is Jessica again. Startups are really driving innovation and emerging tech today, and so it's no wonder that many of the people who are just entering the job market actually want to work for a private company like Airbnb or Uber, even over some of those big name corporations. The job search is very rigorous, maybe now more than ever, but the reality is that working at a startup comes with a risk, and you should be picky too when it comes to looking for the company where you want to essentially begin your career. In the past, what have people been doing when looking to make their next career move? The traditional methods of networking and job fairs are pretty hit and miss, and you really need a better way to help you discover exciting companies that you'll be passionate about as a next step after school. With CB Insights, we have a tool called Deal Search, which can help you to find out which companies have just recently raised a round of funding and are likely on the upswing and healthy enough that you want to work there. So first things first, to get to Deal Search, you'll log in to your CB Insights account from your school's portal. We have a few different search tools included in the platform, but Deal Search is really our core query tool, as it will show you the most granular data in a deal-by-deal transaction-level format. You'll want to start by filtering for specific industries that you're interested in. Our taxonomy is a labeling system where every company is labeled in one way based on what the company does and how they do it. You can get pretty granular with what you're looking for. For example, if you're passionate about travel and tech, you can start with a search in the internet field, narrow that down to internet software and services, and then close in even more to what you're looking for by selecting the travel sub-industry. Now, it's important to note that each company within our database is mapped one-to-one with this sector, industry, sub-industry taxonomy breakdown. So if you're not sure where something is aligned in our taxonomy, you can use the search function at the top of the company industry filter. So using the same example, if you type in travel, you'll see that there are more traditional travel companies out there, but there are also internet and mobile-based software travel companies, as well as e-commerce and mobile commerce travel companies. So if you wanted to make sure that you're searching through all the travel companies in our database, you'll want to select all 5 of these different pathways for travel. In addition to the traditional taxonomy, we also have public company lists that you can choose from. These lists are put together on our end based around more of those hot thematic things like Internet of Things, big data, and cybersecurity. We provide it here since these lists can group companies together within a trending space that might not fit as neatly into one industry vertical. For this search, we'll select all tech sectors to give you a good look at the breadth of information we can provide. You can also search for companies that are based within a specific geography or multiple geographies. So say right now you attend Harvard or UPenn, but in thinking about taking those next steps in your career and in your life, you really like the thought of working for a tech startup that's based in New York City, Silicon Valley, or even Shanghai, China. You can select those different locations by using the geography filter. For this example, we'll just search for tech companies based in the US. After selecting some industry and geography filters, you can use the financing and exit filters to pare down your search even further and keep it really relevant to what you're looking for. A couple of especially useful filters here include the investment stage filter. The companies in our database are going to be private companies, but if you're really adamant about becoming involved in a very early stage startup, you can just select seed or angel or Series A, maybe also grant-funded companies here. You can also filter by total funding amount. So if you wanted to see early stage companies that have raised at least $5 million, you can do that here. There's also a deal's date range filter to help you look at only those companies that have raised in the past year or so. If you want to identify companies that are really healthy and probably looking for top talent, one way to do that is to sort by the total funding column to identify those companies that have raised the most money at the earliest stages. Just click on the total funding column and you'll see those with the most funding brought right to the top of your screen. This will show you a list in order of those companies that have the highest potential to be hiring for the jobs that you're looking for. You can always click into these companies' URLs in the second column to see what their job search looks like. So from the example search, once we save the search and name it anything we want, say high growth US tech startups, it'll appear right on your MyCBI homepage. These feeds that you're seeing here are giving you real-time alerts on new funding and financing deals. They're somewhat similar to Twitter or Facebook feeds, which you're all really probably already familiar with, and they're a great way to stay apprised of things and make sure you don't miss out on anything in the areas that you're interested in, as these feeds are updated all day, every day, and you can create as many as you want for your homepage. You can also use the Remind Me feature seen under each deal, which allows you to write a message to your future self that is then sent to your inbox. So say that you saw that Crypto Facilities just raised $1.5 million. You want to make sure to reach out. Just use the Remind Me feature rather than burying yourself under a million little post-it notes on your desk, and you'll get that reminder sent straight to your inbox on the date of your choosing. So that covers how to discover high growth companies with deal search and how to keep track of all the financing activity that's happening around companies like those with custom feeds. But now say you want a company that you would love to work at and you've scored an interview with them. What are you going to do to prepare? How are you getting educated on that company before going into a meeting with them?
This is Katrina again. Our company profiles can help prepare you in ways that a Google search just can't. Let's take a look at Coinbase's company profile. So Coinbase is a very well-known private company. You probably know what they do in general, but our company profiles are going to give you a lot of in-depth information on companies very quickly. You'll see where the company is located, as well as where they are located within our taxonomy, and their description, of course. But you'll also be able to find the latest news that we've gathered on them, where you can quickly read up on them by clicking on any of these to go directly to their latest news articles while prepping for an interview or meeting. You'll see their funding history timeline, which shows you the amount raised in different funding rounds and how long it's been since their last funding. We'll also provide a list of similar companies, and these are algorithmically matched companies that are determined by that same machine learning technology that's working to pull in all of our data. So on the first page alone, we're giving you some good information for getting to know a company very quickly, but we want you to be well prepared, so there's a lot more that we can discover here as well. You saw the funding history timeline on the first tab of Coinbase's company profile page, but under the financing tab, we're giving you a list of all of their investors as well as round by round details and which investors were involved in which rounds of financing. The fact that a company has raised X amount of dollars is great, but it's also important to know where the money was raised from. Were high profile VC firms involved? How about those well-known smart money VCs? And you can also use this to see who is involved in financing the early stages of Coinbase to help guide your conversations with them in an interview or meeting. Last things to help you shape a conversation with a company is data around their industry trends and comparable companies. Understand which sector, industry, and sub-industry the company is performing in, and also get a quick look at how the industry is doing overall. Also understand the company's competitors and how they're doing financially when comparing them. A very common interview question that can come up is, how familiar are you with our competitors? So you can use this similar companies breakdown to pinpoint not only who is best in class among these peer companies, but also if you're considering working for Coinbase, You might also find their competitors worth reaching out to as well.
So with that, we've covered how to discover high-growth private companies that are hiring, as well as how to gain in-depth knowledge on a company before an interview or a meeting with them. We're going to move a bit away from the how to find a job use case and turn towards how to find and target potential investors for entrepreneurial students who are working on building a startup of their own. Our rankings tool can help you discover who the top players are in a given industry. You can run a search that ranks investors by the number of financing deals they were involved in within a given industry. If you're an entrepreneurial student and you're working on the next big thing in fintech, you should start looking for potential investors to target who already have knowledge and capital invested in the fintech space. So this is an example of a ranking search that's querying for VCs and corporate VCs that have invested in early stage fintech companies. You'll see that 500 Startups has been the most active VC and fintech companies at those early stages, but they're followed closely by First Round Capital. You can click on the briefcase icon to see the deal details for exactly which fintech companies they were involved in at the earliest stages. From here, you could choose to select the top 5 or 6 most active and click on See Underlying Deal Details to pull this information into a deal search where you can then create a feed for your homepage. You can name that your Smart Money FinTech Investors feed to keep track of every single time First Round Capital, Google Ventures, Excel, RRE, or Andreessen make an investment in early stage fintech companies going forward. So we just found a good number of potential investors for your budding fintech company. But now you can say, all right, I want to know more about First Round Capital so I can really decide if they're a good potential investor to target. From First Round Capital's investor profile, you can get a good understanding of their investment thesis and how their strategy has changed over time to help guide your conversations when it comes time to pitch your own company to them. You'll see all of First Round Capital's monthly investment activity over time in the top graph, where orange indicates the number of deals and blue is referring to the number of dollars. You can use this to quickly assess if their deal activity has remained steady over time. Of course, you'll then see the details for each of their investments below that, including the company, the round amount, any co-investors involved, and whether it was the first time they invested in the company or not. You can also dive into their exit activity to see how successful their portfolio companies have been historically. The scatter plot highlights First Round Capital's exits over time for those with disclosed valuations. As you can see here, it's illustrating that exits continued to stay pretty steady through 2015. A notable recent exit in 2015 was Square, which filed their $4.77 billion IPO in November. And looking back on the investors' financing activity, you'll see they were actually an early investor in Square at the Series B round, which is a testament to First Round Capital's thesis. Now you can see the industry heat map for this investor, where we're showing the distribution of First Round Capital's investments by industry. The size of each industry is going to represent the number of deals in each sector, while the darkness of blue will represent the amount of funding in dollars. In 2015, First Round Capital has been most heavily investing in internet, closely followed by mobile and telecom, and then fintech, with 10 investments in fintech in 2015 alone. When you're logged into your CB Insights account, these analytics and visuals are all interactive, so you can also see how their investment strategy has changed over time by moving the time slider to change the time frame that you're looking at. We just looked at First Round Capital's investments in 2015, but now we can see all of their investments in 2013. This illustrates that just 2 years ago, they weren't investing as much in fintech as they are today, with only 6 investments in the fintech space that year. So for our hypothetical entrepreneurial student, it's great to know that First Round Capital's investments in fintech have been increasing over time if you're looking at them as a potential investor for your company. This new versus follow-on graph is showing you the ratio of First Round Capital's new investments in blue to their follow-on investments in orange by quarter over the last 5 years. So, with follow-on investments, meaning that they've invested in a company more than once, if you saw only orange here and no blue, that could be an indicator that an investor hasn't raised any new funds to invest in new companies. What we're looking at here illustrates that first-round capital has kept a fairly steady balance in new versus follow-on investments over time, which is good if you're looking at them as a potential investor. Lastly, let's highlight first-round capital's investment syndicate, which highlights and ranks who the top co-investors are that were involved in the same rounds of funding in companies with first-round capital. So you'll see here that SV Angel has invested in 52 companies across 64 rounds with first round. But maybe more importantly, it's also showing you who got into these companies before first round was involved. So if you've gone through their profile and decided that first round capital could be a great potential investor, you most likely also want to be paying attention to their upstream investors like Y Combinator and Floodgate, who are investing in the same companies but at even earlier stages, as possible potential investors for your company as well. So that covers how to find and target potential investors for the entrepreneurial student. Wanted to let you know our team of analysts is constantly working to find the latest trends and analyze the activity in the private markets. So if you're not sure where to begin, or you want to learn more about a specific industry, geography, or even company, check out our blog at cbinsights.com/blog. Also, join the other 190,000 intelligent followers of our newsletter to stay up to date on the most cutting-edge startup data and research. Read our newsletter nightly, and you'll always sound like the smartest person in the room. That's pretty much all the time we have today. I'll also try to answer some questions that came up during the webinar. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me at jschneider@cbinsights.com. You can reach Katrina at kramos@cbinsights.com, or you can also email help@cbinsights.com. Thanks for joining and have a great rest of your day.